Hello class, today we are going to talk about applying systems of linear equations, which is section 6.5. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to choose a method to find the solutions to the system of equations. So, we've talked about 5 different methods. In all reality, 3 different methods. The last one just has multiple types. So we have graphing. As we've talked about, that is not the best option for solving these equations. It gives you an estimate of the solution, but it's very difficult to find the exact solution with graphing. So it is an option, we just aren't really going to use it. More accurately, we have substitution or elimination, so our 2 algebraic methods. Substitution, we mainly want to use that when we can get a variable by itself easily. Elimination is when we can easily match things up, and then obviously elimination with multiplication is kind of our last resort if we can't use any of the other options. So we've got 5x plus 8y is equal to negative 2, 3x minus 4y is equal to negative 10. So when we're looking at this, there is no single variable, so substitution isn't going to be a good idea for us. It's going to take a lot of work to get a variable by itself. So then we're going to go ahead and look at elimination. None of the terms match exactly, but 8 and 4 are a nice pair to work with. So I'm going to multiply this whole second equation by 2. So our first equation stays the same, 5x plus 8y is equal to negative 2. And our second one becomes 6x minus 8y is equal to negative 20. So since our variables are opposite, I'm going to go ahead and add and get 11x. Our y's get eliminated, is equal to negative 22. Solving, we're going to divide both sides by 11 and get an answer of x is equal to negative 2. Then I'm going to need to plug that back in. A little too far. We're going to plug that back in for x, not for y. And we are going to get 5 times negative 2 plus 8y is equal to negative 2. 5 times negative 2 gives me negative 10 plus 8y is equal to negative 2. I'm going to go ahead and add 10 to both sides and get 8y is equal to 8. When I divide that out, I'm going to get y is equal to 1. So for a final answer of negative 2, 1. So we chose to use elimination on this one because we had variables that we could line up, and it was very difficult to get another variable by itself. This one we've got 2x minus y is equal to negative 10. And 7x plus 3y is equal to 4. Because we have a singular variable right here, we can use substitution for this one. So I'm going to rearrange this equation to get the y by itself. I'm going to go ahead and add y to both sides, which gives me 2x is equal to negative 10 plus y. Then I'm going to need to get rid of that 10, and I'm going to go ahead and add 10 to both sides, giving me a second equation of 2x plus 10 is equal to y. Now that I know what y is equal to, I can go ahead and plug that in. So I'm going to get 7x plus 3 times 2x plus 10 is equal to 4. Distributing to get rid of the parentheses, I get 7x plus 6x plus 30 is equal to 4. 7x plus 6x gives me 13x plus 30 is equal to 4. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 30 from both sides and get 13x is equal to negative 26. Dividing both sides by 13, I end up with x is equal to negative 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and plug that back in, and I get 2 times negative 2 minus y is equal to negative 10. If I continue to solve, 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 4 minus y is equal to negative 10. I'm going to go ahead and add 4 to both sides, giving me negative y is equal to negative 6. And dividing both sides by a negative to get rid of that negative in front of the y, I get y is equal to 6 for a final answer of negative 2, 6. So that's an example where substitution could be used because we could get our variable by itself. You also could have used elimination with multiplication if you wanted to multiply that top equation by 3 and match up your y's. Go ahead and try this one on your own using any method you would like. In this case, I chose to use elimination with multiplication, multiplied that top equation by a negative 2, giving me negative 8x minus 2y is equal to negative 34. Solving, I get x is equal to 6, and plugging back in, I get y is equal to negative 7. Lastly, we have our word problem. So Jared volunteers for 50 hours and plans to volunteer for 3 hours each week. Kelsey is volunteering, or just started volunteering and plans on volunteering 5 hours per week. Find out how long before they have volunteered the same number of hours. So first we're going to look at Jared. He's volunteered for 50 hours, plus he's going to do 3 hours per week from now on. And that's going to give us his total of volunteer hours. Kelsey just started, so she hasn't done anything yet, so that gives us 0, plus her 5 hours per week, and that's going to equal her volunteer hours. So we've got our equations set up, and now we need to go ahead and solve. So since y is by itself, we can go ahead and plug that in. It doesn't really matter for what. And we can also, since this is plus 0, we can get rid of that because adding 0 doesn't really change our equation. So I'm going to go ahead and plug my 5x in place of y. And I've got 50 plus 3x is equal to 5x now instead of y. Because we've got variables on both sides, I'm going to move my variable over to the other side. And that's going to give me 50 is equal to 2x. Solving, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, which gives me x is equal to 25. So now we need to plug that back in. So I'm going to plug that into our second equation and say 5 times 25 is equal to y, which gives me 125 is equal to y. So ultimately what this is saying is they volunteer for 25 weeks, which is a total of 125 hours. So we've got this final sentence to actually explain what is going on. Go ahead and try this one on your own. So our first equation, we know that our two penguins have a combined height of 169. And then the second one tells us that the emperor penguin is twice the Galapagos' height plus 22. So I can set up that second equation. This is a good one for substitution. So we substitute that into our equation and end up with an answer of G is equal to 49 centimeters and E is equal to 120. After we finish off, we should probably write our final sentence, which is emperor is 120 centimeters tall and Galapagos is 49 centimeters tall. If you have questions about this or anything else from the lesson, please let me know when you get to class.